Hi there guys, welcome back to Tom Voyage and a happy new year to you as this is the first video of 2025. Now for this video I wanted to do a two-part series on getting started with your Ooni pizza oven. So in part one of this video we're going to talk through how to set up your oven ready for your first cook. Let's go! So to start out this video, we'll be using the two ovens you can see behind me. On this side, we've got the Ooni Karu 2, which is formerly known as the Ooni Karu 12G. It's a multi-fuel oven, which means it can run on wood, it can run on charcoal, and it can run on gas as well. And then on this side, we've got the Ooni Koda 12. Now this is just purely a gas oven. It's a little bit smaller, it's a little bit easier to use, but we'll go through the setup of both of these ovens depending on which one you've got, whether you opted for gas or whether you opted for multi-fuel. So first let's take a look at the multi-fuel oven, the Karu 2. Now in here you'll see there's a door on the front with glass so you can see your pizza cooking. You've got a fire or a fuel basket inside which you can fill with wood and charcoal. You can also get an additional gas adapter that goes into the back of this oven if you wanted to convert it to a gas oven. You've got a chimney with a dampener on here and a fuel hatch at the back. Now primarily using wood, in my opinion, is more fun to cook on. I enjoy cooking on wood, but it can be a little bit more challenging because you've got to manage the fire within the oven. That means temperatures can fluctuate and you need to be a little bit more skilled on how to manage the fire to get the correct temperature in your oven. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you're up and running with it, these ovens are really good fun to use and they're also very easy. Next up, we've got the Koda 12. Now, this is a gas-powered oven. You've got a gas outlet at the back, which gives you a flame directly from the back of the oven. There's a knob on the back here as well, which controls how much gas is going through the oven and gives you a larger or smaller flame. Now, the advantage, obviously, of using gas is it's very, very easy. If you need more heat in the oven, you turn the dial up, and if you need less heat, you can turn the dial down. It's also much cleaner. You haven't got any of the ash to clean up afterwards. Once you finish cooking, you simply just turn it off, unhook it from the gas, and you're away to go. So one of the first things you'll need to consider with your new Ooni pizza oven is the placement and where you're going to put it in the garden when you want to cook. Now, it is worth mentioning these are both outdoor only ovens. You can't use them indoor. Now, the first thing to consider is airflow. In order to get a good hot flame, you need the airflow to come into the back of the oven, across the top of the pizza and up out the chimney. That means you need to be careful that the oven isn't facing the wind and the wind's blowing directly this way because that's not going to give you the proper airflow. Now with the Karu 2 pizza oven, it does have the door which helps stop any wind going in this way. But if I'm to turn this oven around, on the back of the oven, you need the airflow to come in this way. That provides the firebox inside with a good level of oxygen to create a nice hot flame. Now with the Koda 12, it's not as much of an issue. Obviously there's no air intake at the back because the gas flame doesn't require any oxygen to run. But one thing you will want to consider is still not having it facing any wind. What can happen, especially I've had this happen before, is when the oven's running, if a gust of wind comes in here, it can actually blow the flame out. Obviously once the flame's gone out, the gas will still be running. It's just going to waste your fuel and it's not going to be heating up your oven. Now today is a nice still day, there is hardly any wind at all, so hopefully we shouldn't have an issue with either of our ovens in this position. So now let's talk about the setup of these pizza ovens and the first time you're going to light them. We'll start with the gas because it's the most easiest. Now, obviously to connect this to a gas canister, you just need a propane gas canister. This might look a little bit different depending on the part of the world that you live in, but in the UK we use these ones. All you have to do is connect that to your gas tank, turn it on using this knob at the back, turn it to full power and let that heat up for around 30 to 40 minutes. Now Ooni do say that these get to temperature in about 20 minutes, which I have experienced before. You can get them that hot that quickly. But what I would recommend is that the first time you're using this, you want a really hot oven and you want to make sure that that stone is fully saturated with heat. So leave it at least 30 minutes, make sure it's good and hot, and then you'll be ready to cook your pizza. Another thing we get asked about with these gas ovens is what this thing is. Now you'll find one of these come with your oven, and what it's used for is to hold a match. Now the match goes in the end here, it extends out, and that's for use lighting your oven if your clicker on your gas dial at the back isn't working. You can light the match, put it in there, it's far away from your fingers, goes all the way to the back of the oven and it'll light the gas that way. Now the setup of the Ooni Karu is a little bit different. Now as we mentioned before, it's a multi-fuel pizza oven, which means it can run on wood or it can run on charcoal. Now when you're using charcoal, I find it gives a much better flame, and it's much easier if you're a beginner as well. So how I like to set this up is with charcoal in the basket here, and then also use a couple of these fire lighters and a few bits of kiln dried hardwood. Now, one thing I like to remind people is to use a good quality charcoal. What we're looking for is big chunks of charcoal like this. This is lumpwood charcoal, not the really tiny dusty bits, because what's going to happen if you use that is it's going to block up all those air holes and you're not going to get a sufficient airflow to provide a nice hot flame. So nice big chunks, arrange them loosely like this so you can get plenty of airflow through. Bury a couple of these fire lighters in there. Once it's lit, we're going to add a few of these wood chunks to the top, and what's going to happen there is the charcoal is going to give you a nice steady consistent temperature in your oven, and the wood on top is going to provide a rolling flame which will roll over the top of the pizza stone, heating up the pizza stone and also heating up your pizza when you cook it as well. Now again, like we said with the Koda 12, it will take about 30 to 40 minutes to heat up to get the oven really good and hot to those high temperatures you want to cook a Neapolitan style pizza. So during that time, I'll add some more chunks of charcoal and probably 3 or 4 bits of wood this size as well. And just like the charcoal, it's important to use a good quality hardwood that's been ideally kiln dried. That'll give you the best burn. So I get my wood from a company called Lovelogs. They're based here in the UK. If you want any more information on them, I'll leave a link in the description below. So our fire baskets are ready. Our gas oven is connected to the gas canister. So the only thing left to do is light these ovens. Now, as we mentioned before, patience is key here. After 20 minutes, it's worth just checking with a thermometer the temperature of your oven. But ideally, you want to be leaving these ovens around 30 to 40 minutes to make sure that the stone is saturated with heat and you've got a really hot oven ready for your pizza. Now, before we light these ovens, I want to mention if you'd like to buy either of these ovens, I'll leave some links in the description below. It doesn't cost you any more money to purchase through these links, but it helps me out with a bit of commission so we can carry on making these kinds of videos. Also, if you are enjoying these videos and you want to learn more about pizza making, check out my other videos. You can hit subscribe, hit like, and see some of my other content on Ooni's and all kinds of other pizza ovens. And finally, if you've got any questions about what we've talked about today, you've got the comments section below. Leave a question down there and I'll do my best to answer those questions for you. Right, let's get these pizza ovens lit. So both of our ovens are now lit. The gas one, very easy, turned it on and it's ready to go. With the wood one, we lit our wood from the back. And one thing I like to do is just leave this door open for a couple of minutes just to let the plenty of air to the fire. And then after a couple of minutes, close that up and make sure that your baffle is open on your chimney as well, not closed. Now, before we go to part 2 of this video, I want to talk to you about some of the accessories I use for my pizza ovens that you may also find useful. So when looking at accessories, safety first, heat-proof gloves. When you're dealing with really hot ovens like we've got behind us, these are a really good idea. Now these ones are the ones from Ooni, but there's plenty of other options available. Next up is a brush for your pizza stone. Now, over time, when you're doing a lot of pizzas, you're going to get a buildup of flour and of cornmeal or semolina on that stone. It's going to burn. It's going to make the bottom of your pizzas all black. So having a brush like this to go in the oven and brush away any of that debris to give you a nice clean stone for your next pizza is a good idea. As you can see, this one's been well used, but I've had it a few years and it's lasted during the test of time. Now, one of the most important accessories I use is a digital thermometer. Now, this is used to read the stone temperature. It gives you a quick and accurate reading, making sure that your stone temperature is up to the right temperature you need it to cook your Neapolitan style pizza. Now, this one is from Ooni. It's a very nice one, but there are plenty of other brands available. What I do like about this one, however, is it gives you a color ring to show you when you're at the right temperature, and it matches what you see on the side of the Karu pizza oven. And lastly, one of my favorite accessories I use is these types of tables from Ooni. They're really handy, obviously not only for putting your pizza oven on, but also for prepping your food on too. Now this one to the side is a folding table. It's great if you've got limited room. It folds away nice and compact, and it's the right size for the 12 or the 16-inch ovens. Now on this side you've got the larger table. You can bolt two of these together and have a full workstation. It's also got a couple of shelves on there. It's a nice sturdy table and it's ideal for the larger pizza ovens. So thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did find it useful, please remember to like and subscribe, and please join us next time for part 2 of this video, where we'll be cooking your very first pizza using your Ooni pizza oven.